Okay. Good evening. So we'll talk about like today, right? So I'm just going to give introduction about UiPath, okay, components as well as I'm just going to talk about the user interface of the UiPath. That is the first session. Okay. If you have any queries, you can stop me at any moment. Okay. Let's move on to the fine. So let's talk about the UiPath components, which are very important for UiPath Studio. So basically, UiPath Studio is one of the automation tools. By using that, I can able to automate the what I'm trying to say, the applications. So what is the type of application where we can do automate the Windows application, web application, and so I mean to say that here. So it is the Citrix oriented Citrix applications also we can do it, as well as I can able to do staff oriented applications. So here completely I'm going to talk about workflow. So what is a workflow? A workflow is nothing but it's a graphical representation of business process. So whatever you are doing business, right, in terms of invoicing management, in terms of the insurance, in terms of whatever banking, whatever you are doing the process, okay. I'm going to show it in I'm going to show it in a graphical representation where which is going to process to the automate rule-based process. So pretty much simple it is. The workflow is nothing but a graphical representation of your business. So whatever the business I'm trying to do, so whatever the business I'm trying to automate, that entire thing I'm going to show it in a graphical representation. So it is nothing but what I'm trying to say, it is nothing but a workflow. Okay, let me open the one more representation. Yes, I think you are able to this. That is a little bit latest old one. This is the latest one. So if you could see it, right, my workflow seems to be like this. Here, I just clearly mentioned. So a simple sequence. It is a workflow is a component of the sequence of flowcharts or state machine. Okay, but here a simple sequence I just written like this. How it is looking like? I'm building the table. I'm just constructing one table. I'm writing data into particular sheet, and I'm writing some data into the logs. I've just clearly mentioned a few activities, okay, which come together as okay one workflow. Okay, so this is how your workflow looking like this. Everything would be looking like in a graphical representation. If you could see here, right, flowchart here clearly mentioned start. So doing some operations, taking decisions, and go back. Everything is done, and just coming outside. Here, workflow should be like looking like this. It's just like a graphical representation. So where we can showcase our business rule-based operations. I hope you got it. So let's talk about sequence. So what is a sequence? Which is suitable for linear process. Linear is nothing but a direct process or a simple process. Okay. So if I'm just reading some data, writing the data, that's all. I'm reading the data from somewhere, I'm just writing to somewhere. So what is the meaning of here? I'm just doing direct process. I'm not taking any decision here, right? I'm not taking any decision. I don't want to go back. I don't want to take any decision. So I don't have to false and true waste here. So in this case, what we want to do, better I can go for sequence, right? So that is where sequence it is like smoothly go from one activity to another. See here, this is one activity and second activity and third activity. Just keep on going by activity to activity where we will not take any decision in between. Okay, so this is how your sequence is looking like. Already we have seen the sequences in third chapter. Third what I'm trying to start last. And coming to this flowcharts are suitable for more complex logic. Okay, that means that if I have any complex logic where I'm going to integrate with the multiple systems and multiple system in the sense here, multiple applications, and we have to take decision in between and I have to go back to the previous application. I want to take some data if I'm not getting the particular application. So like this, if you're integrating the multiple application or if you're taking multiple complex logics, then better we can go for the flowcharts. So as we can see clearly, I can read the entire information about the process. Here, building the table, I'm scraping data from somewhere, I'm scrapping data from the application, and whatever I've scrapped here, I'm going to export it. Do you want to continue for next record? Yes, if it in the sense I'm going back to the next record, I'm going to extract it, and finally I'm just going to done my job here. This is your flowchart would be looking like this. So inside a sequence, I can able to drag and drop your flowchart diagram. Yes, it is possible. Inside the flowchart, yes, I can able to drag and drop. Here, see, this is a sequence. This is my flowchart. All our sequences here. First sequence, build table. Inside that, set of activities will be there. Here, scrapping data is one sequence. Inside that, you can able to create even inside able to create. You can able to create the flowchart as well as sequences also inside that. So it is a flexible operations can be done in UiPath Studio. And this is also one sequence, exporting sequence. This is the symbol for sequence activity. So I'm going to write logic for exporting operations inside of this. And this is a decision symbol where I can take the decision to go back to the previous state or any true or false states I can able to write. I can able to go ahead with a decision. What I'm trying to say, decision activity. Any queries so far in flowcharts and sequences, Kavya?
No, Mohan, clear.
Cool. Now, so let's talk about. I think you're pretty much good about this, but anyway, I'm just giving a review. So UiPath components. So what is UiPath component? Basically, there are three types of components available in UiPath Studio. One is UiPath. I'm sorry, UiPath. There are three types of component. One is UiPath Studio, UiPath Robot, and UiPath Orchestrator. Pretty much important, all those three. So basically, as a developer, where he is supposed to be work. So basically, as a developer, he's supposed to be work in UiPath Studio component, where he is going to automate. Already I have given the introduction. This is called UiPath Studio environment, where I'm going to automate the process, where I'm going to debug my process, where I'm going to publish my process. So all these diagrams, how we are going to create the design activity here by using visual diagrams. That is nothing but all or nothing but workflows. We are going to create more workflows in the form of like examples. Okay, so from there I can able to interact with the multiple examples or multiple workflows by using the argument concept that we'll discuss in upcoming session. So UiPath Studio is one of the key area in UiPath components where I'm going to automate the process. I think we're pretty much good on UiPath Studio. And UiPath Robot is one of the important concepts where I'm going to execute my process. So whatever you develop here, right, UiPath Studio, so all those things I'm going to, what I'm trying to say, by using bot, I'm going to assign my activity, assign my workflow, whatever I'm done here, right? So I'm going to assign to my bot is going to be execute my process. So robots can work unattended. That means not require human observation here. So how it's not require human observation? Yes, I'm going to run my orchestrator. Orchestrator is one of the key component of the UiPath Studio is again one of the component is UiPath Orchestrator. So what exactly UiPath Orchestrator? So basically here what I'm trying to say in UiPath Studio we used to write and what I'm trying to say I'm used to design my workflow. One workflow design is done. That means I have tested, I have integrated, I have everything is done. Then I don't want to run my bots in front office. So what is the front office automation? What is the back office robots? The front office robot is nothing but in the developer environment, right? So this is my development machine. Here I'm going to develop it. I'm going to run from front end application. That means that so what I'm trying to say, you are running bot from your developer machine from the local you are running. That time your front office robot is working, where only one robot is going to work for your particular program or particular workflow. That is called a front office. What I'm trying to say, front office robot. So what is a back office robot? The bots which are running from the orchestrator. The bots which are running from the orchestrator is called what I'm trying to say, back office robot. Here I don't require to go to UiPath Studio and I don't want to require to you click on the start button. But front office, so make sure that you have to open the bot and you have to click on the start button. From you have to open the UiPath Studio where I mean to say that you have to open the particular project. From the project, you have to click on the start button. Okay, so that is called front office. But here, right? In UiPath Orchestrator is a back office where I'm going to run the list of bots. Number of bots I can select, I can click start. So based on the process, I'm going to select the particular process. I'm going to select the particular bots. I click start. So bots are going to run from the UiPath Orchestrator. So that is called back office. So majorly, what are the key roles which is going to perform by UiPath Orchestrator? So basically, is a web application. So make sure that we have to install in the server, and we have to install server in the sense IaaS, Information Internet Services. So when I install your UiPath Orchestrator, that would be placed in IaaS. From where we can able to access by using the URL. So that it is called and it is a type of web application. So by using Orchestrator, I can able to create the robots. So what is a create robot? Creation is robots is nothing but you have virtual machines. So virtual machines should be integrated with your what I'm trying to say UiPath Orchestrator. So what is virtual machine here? It is nothing but robots. My robot machines. All virtual machines are nothing but it is a physical machine or a virtual machine, whatever it is. And if you want to run from the some process from that machine should be added as a robot into the orchestrator. So that what will happen, I can able there are still a few configurations which we have to do it in there. That we have a separate chapter called UiPath Orchestrator. I'm going to talk about in detail steps, whatever the concept which is going to process the orchestrator, where I'm going to discuss clearly. And time being, there are few steps, okay, which you have to. There are few configurations which you have to do before you add the bot into your orchestrator. There are few steps that we'll discuss in upcoming session. So we can once you create a bot is ready, that means that I have created a bot and I have linked up between my bot and the orchestrator is done. So what is the next step? I want to create the process. So what is the process? This is one of the important concepts, right? So that's the example. I have done invoicing management system. This invoicing management system, I'm going to publish it. So what is the publish it? Where you are going to publish? I'm going to publish my UiPath today. There is an option called publish. From there, if you integrated this bot with your orchestrator, so what will happen? So that means that if this, let's say example, this is my local machine. This local machine is integrated with your orchestrator. What will happen when you click on publish, which is automatically publish the code into orchestrator. So, so once I publish the code, where we have to deploy the process. That means that we have to give one name. You have to give the name for a particular package. So what is the package here? Whatever you deploy in code into orchestrator, it will be converted as nugget package, NUPKG. That is the extension of UiPath package, NUPKG. So what will happen for this package? I'm going to select the latest version. So what is the latest version we have been deployed or published into your orchestrator? Or I'm going to select the latest version, or I'm going to give the particular name of the process. Let's say example, I'm just going to give claim processing system. I'm going to give. So once I give the claim, I'm going to say that I will here, right? What I'm trying to say is claim processing or it is invoicing processing, whatever it is. Give some name over there and click OK. Now process is ready. My bots are ready. So what is the next step? Assets. So what is asset? Assets is nothing but one of the important concept that is called environment variable. The value is different to environment. That's the example. I'm going to give a better example here. We have database connectivity. So what is the database connectivity? Obviously, I just want to write some data, what transactions. Let's say example, I have started my invoices and bot is now going to pick the invoice number one and processed. And I'm finally invoice it is going to once it is completed, then I'll move on to the bot is move on to the next bot. Before move to the next transaction, so make sure that the transaction details should be entered into your database. So for that, we have to establish the connection between your backend and front end. So what is the front end here? UiPath Studio is the front end. So backend, let's say example, you have SQL Server is the backend. So what we are going to do over there? So where we are going to create a table. In the table where I'm going to start like what is the bot one? So what is the status on the invoice? Okay, when it is started, when it is ended, and all the bot breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is nothing but what? It is just bot process steps. That means that uh, login page started, login page ended. In between, right? Home page started, so authentication verified, all those things. Whatever the bots processed, right, inside your application, I'm going to track all the stuff. I'm going to push it into one column into the database. So like this, I'm going to enter what is the what is the final status of the particular in what I'm trying to say transaction. That means that it's going to be paid, or it is deny, or it is what I'm trying to say append due to some reasons. We deny as a duplicate, pay, then everything is good, and I'm going to pay the invoice. So this is how any invoice, any transaction, not only invoicing management system, whatever the transaction which you are doing, that all the transaction details would be logged into database. Why you want to log into the database? So for what I'm trying to say, for future purpose, I just want to know for last 10 days, okay, my bot one, how many transactions done, my bot two, how many transactions done, how many transactions got finalized. The finalized instance paid at dinner is called finalized, right? So how many transactions got finalized? All those stuff, if you wanted to see, the better approach is writing all the transactions to your database instead of writing into the Excel sheet. So I hope you got it here. So here, right, while writing your content to the database, obviously what will happen there, you will have to establish a connection. Let's say example, you are at the local mission, developer mission. So what will happen? Where you have local SQL server and server name and local SQL server user ID and password would be there. The same code tomorrow you are going to deploy into your testing environment. So what is the testing environment? That is what I have done my development, I'm ready to test it. So where server would be different. Okay, SQL server would be different and password and the username and password would be different. So what will happen? What are we hard code in the local machine which is going to be working in their testing environment? No, right? Because the server is different and the user ID password is different. The same code you are going to push it into UAT environment. UAT is nothing but user acceptance testing environment. Obviously, where he is not going to be use your local machine, right? So the server is different and user ID and password obviously different. Okay. The same code you are going to publish into your what I'm trying to say you are going to publish into our production environment. Obviously, server name and username and password would be different. So in this case, I should not hard code my this information into your UiPath Studio. This should be pushed it as a or assets. From the assets, if it is a local environment, I am going to get the local what I'm trying to say local assets and details. If you are a UiPath environment, simply you can configure the data into the orchestrator instead of hard coding into your local. So just configure into the orchestrator, you can create one asset. From the assets, I can able to access the so whatever the environment you have been connected. So I'm going to modify the data into assets. From the assets, you can access and you can proceed further. So this is called assets like environment variables like we can going to create. So like that we can create a bot IDs, password, all those stuff. I can able to push it into assets, assets environment. And any queries so far, Kavya?
No, Mohan.
Yeah, you able to follow me, right?
I'm able to follow you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can follow you.
Yeah, thank you. And the next important concept called queue. So what is a queue? A queue is nothing but input for your bot processing. That means that if you are performing invoices, all the invoices would be loaded into your queue. From the queue, from the queue, bot is going to be access the invoice and is going to process further. Now, what is the scheduling? Scheduling is one of the important concepts. That means that I'm going to be schedule. So I'm going to schedule my bot from 6 o'clock. Yes, I can able to if where you don't require user intervention to kickstart the bot. I can schedule it. Whenever time trigger, automatically bots, whatever the bots you have been assigned to a particular process. So whatever the process you have been scheduled, the process is going to be start and it's going to be completed where I can give the start time and end time. So it is very significant concept in your path orchestrator. So what is the jobs? If you want to manually run your jobs, okay, I want to select the particular process. I want to run the particular bot. Yes, I can able to do it. So by using jobs concepts. So what is the log? So what are the logs when writing the UiPath Studio or designing, right? I'm going to say that the UiPath Studio, whatever the logs you have been writing in there, all the logs will be stored into UiPath orchestrator database. From there, it is going to push it into your orchestrator logs. So I can see What is bot one processing? What is, suppose if you got some exception from bot one, I'll go to the bot one. I'm going to see the particular. I'm just going to click on the log view logs icon. From there, I can see clearly bot one is failed because of so and so exception. I got it. All the information I can see it into orchestrator logs. So these three are significant concepts, significant components in UiPath Studio. Okay, UiPath, sorry, UiPath. Now, one is the UiPath Studio, UiPath Robot, and Orchestrator. We are pretty much good. Let me explain about like architecture, how the flow of data is from Studio to Orchestrator. If you could see here, right, there are three whatever they discussed in previous session, I'm just discussing same here. Here, UiPath Studio. What is UiPath Studio? UiPath Studio is nothing but where I'm going to design my just drag and drop option should be available. I'm going to design my workflow. Once it is done, I'm going to deploy it. So we have a separate icon called Publish. By clicking on the Publish, I'm going to deploy my code into UiPath Orchestrator. So here I can able to interact with a third party APIs. That means that Google API if you want to interact, or Google Calendar if you want to interact, or any other third party services which will be running on over the web. Okay, the APIs, application program interface. Yes, I can able to interact third party APIs by using the orchestrator. So by using the orchestrator, I can able to run different types of applications. So by using robot, I can able to execute or monitor different types of applications. Mainframe oriented application, web, Citrix, SAP, desktop applications. So these are the application I can able to do I can able to execute or monitor from the UiPath orchestrator. So what is here robotic orchestrator does, where we can see it is simple like the control room where I can able to do robot creation or monitoring the robot and how to create the assets, create the process, create the queues, create the schedules, and you'll see the logs and I can able to run the jobs as well as I can able to generate reporting from UiPath orchestrator. These are the key features done by the UiPath orchestrator. So for a robo will be running whatever the process we have designed here, the same process is going to run the robot. Robot is nothing but like a virtual machine or it is an instance. So what are the instructions which we have given to your bot and bot is going to perform the same. Bot never do any mistakes. So this is how your part components would be. Any queries here or else you can get to go to user interface. Okay, fine. Let me talk about user interface. So what is user interface? User interface nothing but so how to create a project. I think you are familiar. When I click on the blank project, where I can it is going to ask you what is the name of the project and what is the location. So location is nothing but where you want to store this particular project and what is the description about the project. It means that you can give the description. Let's say example if I'm processing invoicing management system or if you want to process any banking oriented application. Yes, I can able to give some description here. So for better identification. Once you create the project, obviously what will happen is it's going to navigate to the home page of your UiPath Studio. So what is UiPath Studio? It is one of the integrated development environment, IDE. We used to call it as integrated development environment. Let us talk about sorry. So, yeah, let us talk about what are the individual components or individual what individual activities available here. So this is a new activity, new icon. By using new, I can able to create the sequence of flowchart execution. So by using save right, I can save my application, or if you want to export it to Excel for the application, also I can able to export to Excel. And this is nothing but run icon where you run from bot from your front office. Anything cut copy paste if you want to do, you can do it. And we have a recording concept like if you want to mimic user actions, yes, I can able to do by using a recording concept. There are four types of recording concepts available. So basically, we don't have Citrix environment, so that we'll discuss basic desktop and web recording concept in upcoming session. And we have a screen scraping mechanism. Screen scraping is important concept by using scraping data from the Windows application. Yes, I can able to do. If it is any unstructured data also, I can able to extract the data from the by using the screen scraping mechanisms. And data scraping is separately designed for web application. If you want to extract the structured data from a web application, like if you were to have any table there, that if you want to enter, if you extract entire table, yes, I can able to extract the data. Or if you want to navigate to the multiple pages data also, I can able to extract the data by using the data scraping mechanisms. There are user events available, so by using click events. So what is the events which we have to write repairs? So all there are some user events to perform any actions on it. Yes, I can able to use it. And this is two important things called creating and managing variables. Very important. We have a separate chapter how to create a variable. Here, pretty much the basics for any language or any tool. Here we have a basic, but how to create a variable and what type of data it is. So we have a separate chapter where we're going to discuss about that. And UiPath Explorer. UiPath Explorer is one of the rich tool provided by UiPath Studio. So by using that, I can able to create the selector. I can able to maintain the dynamic selector so by using UiPath Explorer. That we have a separate chapter, so we'll discuss in detail. So this is about the design tab and coming to the execution. So I told you, right, we just talked about this one and how to debug program, how to step in, step out, and how to see the logs, all those that we have seen it. Okay. And setup, from the setup, right, you just want to publish your code into orchestrator. Yes, I can able to do this by using publish option, a publish option. So this is when I click on the publish, automatically the entire code would be converted into nugget package. This nugget package would be deployed into particular missions, what are the bots which are associated with your orchestrator. So basically, this is a library. So what is a library here? So when I'm creating any project, just come up with some samples. Okay, if you want to go through the samples, yes, you can go through this. So when you create any project, it's going to create with a library. There's nothing but the few examples which are provided by the UiPath Studio itself. So they have given like how to create a calculator, how to bring a monitor, all those stuff. They have given some advanced text also, counter example, filter collections. So all something. So they have given this. If you want, you can go through this. So if you want to create, so what I'm trying to say, right? If you want to create a project in new YAML, obviously I can able to create it. So by using the what I'm trying to say, add by using new sequence approach or state machine, all these things are going to be added into your project folder. So what is a project folder? Project folder is nothing but when you create any project, which is come up with a main.xaml. By default, it is come up with only main.xaml. It will not be come up with like this. It will come with only one XAML. So what is the full form of XAML? Extendable Application Markup Language. Let's go back to the physical path of the project folder and let us see what are the files would be defaultly created for this. So by default, it is going to create only main and project would be available here. So when your screenshot folder would be created, okay, whenever scrapping any data from any web application or Windows application, what will happen? It is going to be create one taking screenshot of particular UiPath element, and it is going to be create a screenshot folder. Inside that, all our JPEG files would be here. See here, whatever I'm just scrapping data, right? So particular web or UI, web application or Windows application. So it is going to capture the particular UI element screenshot and it will be placed into your screenshot folder. Here we just want to talk one important concept called project. So entire project file would be in the form of JSON file. Let us see what JSON file would be contained. Here, right? Here, very few things, name. What is the name of the project? So whatever the given you have name by user interface demo. So it is going to display here. So what is the description which we have been given, which is going to display us. So where exactly my bot has to be start? My bot has to start from main.xaml. Here we can able to change your like this is starting XAML. So if you want to rename, you can rename the main to different types of like invoicing or claim or whatever it is. You can change it as different as you like. And if you want to depend any packages, that means that Excel, okay, if you want to depend FTP file transfer, or if you want to depend on any database activities, all those things it will be mentioned here. Apart from that, okay, we have a tool version. What is the version of the tool? UiPath Studio. So what is the version of the project version? Project. That means that here when you deploy it automatically, when what I'm trying to say, version would be created here. So this is the pack options. We don't require all those tips. So major thing is, so ID is very important here. So main is important and name is important, and that's all. We are going to monitor only these two from this. What I'm trying to say, JSON file. So this is how your JSON would be looking like, and project folder also would be looking like this. And apart from project, we have important a tab called activities here. So which is going to be talk about like all the activities. So, like if we want to perform user events, if we want to perform UI automation, like text, if you want to get text or find text or mouse something. So this by using what is activity? A set of action. Okay, which is going to perform by set of action. If you want to write line, I think if you see the right line, right, it is going to write some text on the log file as well as it is going to write it in your output window. So, so which is going to perform set of activity. If you want to dealing with your database activities, yes, I can able to deal with database activities by using different types of activities going to be present in your activities. What I'm trying to say in the activities window. So these are very important things. If you want to add any packages to this, yes, I can able to add by clicking on the your managing package icon here. Here I can able to add your custom activities as well as the default activities from the UiPath Studio. So this is already having uninstalled. Okay. So framework related, FTP related, PDF related, web, that means the JSON, REST. So I mean to say that service related. I have been already installed all those packages here. If you fresh mission, if you're going to there, so obviously you cannot find event driven Excel activities also because it's a lightweight, and you just keep on adding the activities to your UiPath Studio by adding the packages. So this is how we can able to create the whatever we can able to manage the packages. If you want to perform any Excel activities, yes, I can able to perform Excel activities after installing UiPath.excel.activities package. And we have one more thing called, this is called your workflow design area where I'm going to design my workflow. Just drag and drop the sequence or flowchart here, and each and every activity would be contain the properties. So properties are very important here. I'm keep on changing the properties. I'm running my application here. I don't require to write more code. With just few steps I'm going to write the code here, and I'm going to remove anything the configurations, and I'm just going to run my bot. Here the properties would be looking like this. Now what is the properties in the sense, what is the name of the what I'm trying to see here is the name of the activity. What is UiPath code.activity. Click. If you want to click on the particular element on the UI, yes, I have to use obviously click. Here it's the mouse type is double click or single click or double click. Okay, so click down or click up, all those things and I can able to set up from here. So target is nothing but which is it consists of your information about the selector information. Anyway, we'll discuss. We have a separate chapter where we are going to discuss about UI elements. By the time I'm going to completely talk about this, they continue on a delay after delay before. So display name. What is the name is display here? We can able to modify it. Yes, I can able to modify here by using the like this. So obviously, this is going to be changed here. So we'll discuss in detail about the each and every property when we discuss about UI elements chapter. And this is outline. So what is outline? Outline is nothing but this is a completely outline of your particular XAML. Now I'm in main XAML. So inside that I have a sequence. Inside I have click event like this, which is going to display if you have anything inside on it. I can able to see an outline of your project. Sorry, XAML. And this is where variable window where I'm going to create the variables and data type. And we have arguments here. A separate window would be available here, but I'm going to create my argument. Or what is the use of argument? If you want to exchanging data between more than one XAML, so obviously obviously we have to go ahead with argument concept. If you want to create any namespace is nothing but if you want to dealing with database operations, okay, where obviously what will happen, we have to include the namespace called system.sql client. SQL client is nothing but what, which is going to deal with SQL where we have different classes. So what is the class again here? Set of properties. which is going to do some operation. Like if you want to establish a connection, yes, we need a SQL connection class for connecting your database operations. So basically, these are and one more thing here, output panel. So what is the output? This is very important. While you're developing, right? Here only you can able to see your input and output operation. All you can able to print it here. So whatever print by using a write line or log message, which is going to be displayed here. Okay. So all the information which is going to display here, where you can see like how the bot is processed. I'm going to say that if you want to see like a calculation operations, yes, I can able to do it by using the seek set of activity. That finally I'm going to print that set of value by using the right line, and I can able to see all the output here. So this is how your UI interface would be looking like. Any queries? Over to you, Kavya.
No, Mohan. Clear.
Okay. And let us do that. I just want to give how to print the data on the screen. So let me create a flowchart here. So print data. So basically there are three types of activities. So which is dealing with printing output on the screen as well as to the user. Let me okay, it is being created here. Yes. Now we have first thing is called right line. Just drag and drop here. How I'm going to drag? I'm just going to in obviously what will happen is going to be added here. And we have one more thing called log message. Yes, I can able to do this. And we have one more thing called message box. Now let me print data from right now. So all three are nothing but printing data to the user or as well printing data on the log file. Okay. Now here I'm just writing data or printing data from right now. So I'm just double clicking on the log message. Here I'm just entering, so printing data from log message. Now go back here. The same thing I'm just going to display from the message box. Double click on it. So just data from message box. Fine. Now I have used three activities here, which are basically used to display some data on the output panel, as well as you are going to display data into your log message. Just simply save this. So right line is an activity which is going to print the data into the log file as well as output. When I'm developing running from front office, all the outputs I can able to whatever the data you are printing by using right line or log message, which is going to be printed here. But message box, right? But coming to the what is if you have one question, so what is the difference between right line and log message? So just double clicking on the log message. So what will happen here? I can able to filter different types of information here. So if I can able to filter warning message, error message, processing. So from the orchestrator, I don't want to display all the information because so it's keep on adding your database, right? Orchestrated database. Sometime, right? What will happen? Your stack will be overflow, the message you will be getting, or system performance is going to be low. That time I don't want to log all the information message into my orchestrated database. So by the time what I want to load, I want to filter it. I just want to only add only error type of information to my log. Yes, I can able to filter. So by using the log message options, but that cannot be printing. That cannot be filtered data. I'm going to say that by using right line concept. So message box is going to display the what are the content we have been displayed in the message box, which is going to be displayed to the user. So just quickly save and run it. Let us see the output. Here we go. So obviously what will happen when a bot kickstarted, which is going to display one small icon. It's called bot runner. Okay. So what is this? This is the message box data. So whatever the printed data you have been by using write line or log message, it is printed. But whatever the data you are displaying in the message box here, which is going to display message box here. So what will happen, right? When I click on the message box, so which is going to on expecting OK button from the user. Okay. So until or unless till my bot is running. That is what last class I told you when I was using message boxes. So you should not deploy the code with message box into your orchestrator. What will happen? All the bots are going to be stopped here. That's all. It is expecting user information to click on OK. We click on OK. So what will happen? Which is going to perform the next operations. So still my bot is running. When I click on OK, my bot is going to be stopped here. Yes, here we go. Then go back here. Output. I told you, right. So what are the data which we're printing by using the write line, right? Which is going to print it here. Printing data from the write line, printing data from log message. In real time, don't use the write line. Okay, so always use the log message because I can able to filter the data from the orchestrator in terms of like log information, in terms of pattern, in terms of warning. So in terms of error. So all those things I can able to filter the data from the orchestrator. So this is how. So all three are always accept the string type of information. These three all are, even they're trying to print some any what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here, if you try to print any integer or floating or a double information to that, obviously you have to convert into true string. Then only it is going to be accepted. Otherwise, it is not going to be accepted here. All three are going to be accepted as string information. Any queries?
No, Mohan, it's very clear now for me.
Good. So, and this is what I have discussed all those stuff, right? So then go back to the keyboard. So already we have shared this document to you, right? So where you can go through this keyboard shortcut for so operating on the UiPath Studio. And I just given a small example about, I mean, a small walkthrough on the folder structure. So which is going to be like so version information will be contained. So four informations, right? What is that? Major, minor, build, and revision version. So we'll discuss in detail how major, minor, build, and revision version will be created. We have while discussing about orchestrator, we'll discuss in detail about it. And from here, right, we just seen how to create a basic workflow, how to debugging a project, and we have created like how to create a sequence and flowcharts, all those stuff we have created. So I think I'm just pretty much good. I'm pretty much done for user interface class, where I have given all the information about what basically UiPath Studio does. Any queries here, Kavya? If everything is good to go, then we can wind up the session today, and we'll continue the same. So we'll be discussing about variable chapters from tomorrow, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. It's very clear about the class,
Okay.
but I have a question. Like, we have to push the code to assets for the testing and production environments, right?
Yeah. So obviously, right?
Okay.
So when we've done the code here, right? So we have a orchestrator like dev orchestrator would be there, and testing orchestrator would be there, and UAT orchestrator would be there, and the production orchestrator would be there. So what will happen? You have to push the code into respective environment.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
The here the testing will be done by the manual testers.
Yeah, the testers here, everything test. There is no separate team would be here. Okay, so all are done by the RPA developers only because testing is we don't require, right. So while developing, so basically, right, so we are running with multiple invoices. Let's take example, you are developing invoices in the system. So once you develop it, right, so what will you are going to push 10 to 20 invoices to the queue, then you kickstart the bot. So obviously, where we are going to capture the 20 type of, if it is a 20 type of 20 different types of scenario based invoices, yes, my bot should be run all the 20 types of scenario based. If any issues over there, then we have to fix it and we have to rerun the bot over there. Here we don't require separate testing team because testing team what basically they are going to do. Um, Whatever they are going to do, we are doing here. We are writing the test cases and I'm just running a bot. And finally, I'm just what I'm trying to say here, right? I'll make it as pass or fail for particular test cases, whatever I have written in test case. I mean, test cases.
Okay, I got you. And you will help in the resume preparation?
Yeah, I'm just going to help you in the resume prepare. I have a set of samples. I'm just going to give you. So if you have any queries, we can check together. No issues.
Yeah, because in resume we have to keep at least 5 years of experience for to get an interview call here. Uh,
5 years
how much
experience.
experience can we keep in RPA?
RPA, if you should not put more than 2 years. If you put more than 2 years, no, you know, they're expecting more. They are going to give individual points to you.
Yeah, but before we have to keep like SQL developer experience also.
Do you have experience in SQL?
No.
Okay, but if you know sequencing again, it's a very big ocean. Okay, so if you know how to create a basic stuff, you can put it because where I have used only logging purpose, I have used SQL here. Then you can manage work.
Okay.
For transactional, I'm writing small store procedures where I'm going to write the. Anyway, we have a separate chapter called data, how to dealing with database. Okay, where I'm going to give how to create queries, how to update queries, all that stuff. So that is enough
Oh,
because here I am not writing any store procedure. I am not doing for application oriented store procedure. Here it's only bot transaction. It's not going to take it will not be that much complex. Very easy. You can put it SQL Server also.
okay.
Are you working anywhere
If
or
we,
what?
no, I'm not working.
Okay, fine. Yes, you can put it.
Yeah,
No, if you put 5 years, apart from 5 years, you put only RPA for 2 years. It is good enough. That is what I'm just giving here to my students. Those who are working from US or Canada.
yeah.
So once you got
For
it, so I'll give you support for you. So that will be different amount, all that stuff. If you're not able to survive it, I'm going to give
yeah.
one-to-one developer to you, who is my team, right? And just give assign to one person. There you can daily basis, I can connect with him and you can work. You get it done by him. But
Okay, that's
but
good.
getting job is your goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Later we can discuss some interview questions, right? After
Yeah,
resume
yeah, yeah.
preparation.
Yeah, after completing our session. So if you are going to any interview also, please let me know. That day we will discuss only for theory part. That is what I used to do here. See, normally, right, if you're going to interview, and here the process is very important, SDLC. They are going to ask you most of the questions from software development lifecycle, as well as they're going to ask questions from the orchestrator. So if you're good with these two, I can give assurance 70% of the interview will be completed by you.
Okay, they'll ask for previous experience, like if you keep a SQL Server, they will ask in depth about the SQL Server or regarding project-based questions.
So most of the cases, right, they are going to ask you in the current environment only. Okay. So what I'm trying to
Okay.
say, right, if you put it SQL Server, right, they are going to ask you because they are looking for only RPA, right? So obviously, what will happen? They are going to pitch in only an RPA. That is what I'm expecting. If you go bad luck, then they maybe ask questions from your past experience also. That where we cannot predict, right?
Yeah.
It depends upon our luck. But most of the 90% I can give assurance. If I go for normal, I used to take interviews here, so I'm just going to majorly focus on only on current technology because we don't have much time to discuss about the past, right? So I'm looking for an RPA. I'm just going to pitch in only an RPA, so whether it's suitable for me or not. That's all.
Okay. Okay then. Thank you. That's all.
Fine. Okay, Kavya. Have a good day then. Thank you so much.
Mm. Have a good day.
Okay, bye.